Okay. Continuing with Mitzvah Lamed, we're just going to skip one small section where it's very technical, where he compares Nedarim and Shavuot, an oath and a neder, and a vow. So we're just going to skip that section. We're going to begin with what he talks about annulling a neder or an oath. So he says, Uminatam shekatavnu bishvuah. Based on what we said above, sheinyana hu, that the concept is she'adam gomer lekayem devarav ulamet kemo shehu ma'amin bekiyum Elohi. When a person swears, he resolves to uphold what with his words, that it's true, that whatever he's saying is true, and that he believes in Hashem's existence. Hayalanu lilmod shelo titpatel shevuah b'shum tzad. What should happen is that we should conclude that this person should not be allowed to annul or nullify his oath under any circumstances. Because Hashem, just like Hashem's existence can never be nullified, it's eternal, can't be denied. So same thing here. But we know that that's not the case. Ela, shaya mechastea ela alenu. Hashem has grace and kindness towards us. Bedato chulshat binyan gufenu. Because He knows the weakness of our physical figure. Umiut de'otenu, and the deficiency of our intellect. Ve'atmadat shinui retonenu, and we constantly like to change our minds and change our wishes. We might say something at first thinking that this is what we want, or that we think is going to happen, or that we want to happen, and we know it's not true, or you would change your mind. So therefore, latet lanu etza, He gives us a way out. Latzet mima'asar hashevua, a way that we're released from the confines of the oath. Beitchadesh alenu haratzon, because of our change of heart. Bekol et she'efshar lanu litlot be'inyan hashevua ta'anat ones o shegaga, as long as we're able to link to the oath a claim that we said it unwillingly or in error, kemo shemevorash bekomo b'shvuot undarim, as its proper place found in the Gemarot, Masechet Shavuot or Nedarim. So any way that you have a way out, the Chachamim will tell you. You sit in front of a panel. Had you known this, would you have done the oath? Had you known this, would you have done the neder? And if any of this was no, then they were matir the neder for you. Ve'ulam, however, lo hurshenu latzet mimenu bishat benefesh. We're not permitted to quit the oath with what he calls here rashness of soul. Rak betachbula v'atzat chacham. Only through resource and advice of a Talmid Chacham. She'avo anishba lifnei ish. The person would come before a wise man, ish chacham v'navon b'dachei Torah, v'yitvadeh elav, and he has to confess, ki mechesron yediato, that because of his lack of knowledge, shelo haya yodea b'sha'a shenishba davar sheyada achar kach, he was unaware that when he took the oath, that of something he realized later, hu rotzeh levatel ma shenishba alav, he wants to nullify what he was obligated to what he obligated himself to do with that oath. And he recognizes that nullification is because of his deficiency in knowledge and lack of information. And not by some other matter or external thought that entered his heart. God forbid. Sure.
When say to her, she says yes. Is that a notion?
And when she doesn't say yes.
She doesn't.
She doesn't say yes.
She accepts it.
She just accepts it. She's not. Yeah. No. Now, after he confesses to this, and the Chacham recognizes, okay, this guy has some substance to his words. He really regrets, or he realizes that he couldn't. Had something else happen, he wouldn't have done it. Some new realization dawned upon. Such at the point that had he known about this, he wouldn't have sworn. He regrets the oath. The Chacham will accept his confession and release him from the oath. This is what the rabbis tell us. Hu eno mechel, he cannot profane his word, meaning he cannot violate his oath. But aval acherim mochalin lo, other people can profane his word for him. Alken, therefore, leolam iefshar lehatir shevua. It's never possible to annul an oath, kim besibat shum chidush lanishba, except unless there was one new realization or one new factor that entered the situation upon the guy who took the oath. Kigon shiomar, for example, he says, "Ilu hayiti yodea davar ploni lo hayiti nishba ba'olam." Had I known that it was going to rain that day, I wouldn't have made a promise that I was going to go pick him up. Something along those lines. Okay, in that situation, now it becomes something unwilled. It was, and therefore we can be matir him the oath. But if he just says, "I want you to come and release me from my oath," without giving any reason or any claim, no person has the power to release him from the oath. On the basis of this matter, the Chachamim said in the Gemara, "She'en potchin benolad she'eno matzui," that a sage who is approached, to nullify a neder, cannot devise an opening based on something that's unusual. Because generally, the one seeking release does not explicitly say that he's regretful or for making the oath, retroactive from the moment that he swore. Such that we consider him to utter it unwillingly. His will today is as is initially. If circumstances had remained the way it was, my oath is okay. I'm cool with my oath. No problem. But now that something new has happened, I want to release. So the Chacham can change it, not him.
Bedin, not three people, Rabbi?
Bedin, yes. No, Yatir Chacham, one person is fine. Ketzad. So he just gives an example, and this we'll pause and we'll continue next time. He goes, how can we show this? Nishba shelo yaneh biploni. One swore that he wouldn't benefit from so and so. Okay, a person gets upset at this guy, his neighbor. He said, I'm so mad at you. He makes a shavua. I'm no longer going to have any benefit from you. I'm not going to eat at your house. I'm not going to accept anything, any gifts, whatever. Now, guess what happened to your neighbor? He became the scribe or became the butcher. And now the only place you could buy meat is from your neighbor. Okay? So now you made an oath and you can't, what happened? Alright? So now, Vehu Omer, now he says, Retzoni kayemet shelo hayiti chafetz le'anot bo. I did not, my original will is still intact. I don't want to benefit from this person because I'm upset. But I wouldn't have wanted him to become a sofer and a butcher. Right? So in that situation where he says, he doesn't give any new point, then el matirin lo, we can't annul the oath. Ad she'omar, until he says, achar she'ani ro'eh shezeh ha'ish na'asa sofer. Now that this person has become a scribe or a butcher, mitnachem ani al shenishbati ala nato me'olam. Now I regret for having sworn not to have any benefit for him because I need mezuzot, I need tefillin, I need some meat for Pesach, whatever it is. Umi iten shelo nishbati, and I wish I had never have sworn. So that's the opening. Be'inyan ze matirin lo, and that's how we annul the oath. Share modeh shenishana chepzo. He confesses that his initial will has changed. Umitcharet al ma'asav legamre becheson yidiato, and he completely regrets his swearing before due to his lack of knowledge. Shilu yada be'et hashua mashu yodeh hayom. Had he known when he made the oath what he knows today, lo haya nishba me'olam. He would have never sworn. Uchanusu, and now he's considered anus. He has made that oath unwillingly. V'darshinan ha'adam b'shvu'ah. And therefore, the Chachamim expound the pasuk. A person will express in an oath, meaning he has to be a person. He has to be fully cognizant of all the facts. And now that he's not cognizant of all the facts, prat la'anus, this excludes someone who takes an oath unwillingly. And now we could be matir him. We'll continue Bezat Hashem this idea next time.